अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। साक्षाद्धरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रैरुक्तस्तथा भाव्यत एव सद्भिः किन्तु प्रभोर्यः प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरोः श्रीचरणारविन्दम्। यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्याप्रसादान्न गतिः कुतोऽपि ध्यायन्स्तुमस्तस्य यशस्त्रिसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरोः श्रीचरणारविन्दम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। सर्वेभ्यो नमस्काराः। Welcome to this session of Sat-katha. So we have now completed 8 chapters of the Dashama skandha of Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we are going to read the 9th chapter. Just to give a quick recap of what we heard in the 8th chapter. The 8th chapter began with the Namakarana Samskara, or the naming ceremony of Krishna and Balaram, their babies, and Vasudeva sends the sage Gargacharya, who is the Kulaguru of the Yadu Vamsha. So he sends him to Nanda's house in Gokul because he knows that his children are there. Both Krishna and Balaram are his children. But Nanda doesn't know that Krishna actually is Vasudeva's son. He thinks it is his son. He knows that the other child is Vasudeva's child because Rohini is staying with him. So Gargacharya comes here and then confidentially the Namakarana Samskar is performed. Subsequent to that, in the 8th chapter, Shri Vyasdevji and Shukamuni narrate the childhood pastimes. First, as infants, the children began crawling around in the mud, and then they grew up a little bit more. They played, and the numerous innocent, human-like mischiefs they did, and how the sweetness was enjoyed by the gopis, Mother Yashoda, and all the people who were present and watching this. Subsequently, we also heard about the complaints against Krishna when the gopis realized that Krishna is more than they can handle. He would come and steal their butter, break their pots, pinch their babies, feed the monkeys, all kinds of things that even a normal human child may not do. Krishna would be seen doing that, and the gopis, even though they enjoyed those activities, they still got sometimes annoyed and they would come to Mother Yashoda and complain to her. We heard about how when they complain, Krishna would stand very innocently as if nothing has happened and as if he had not done anything guilty. He is not guilty at all. And Mother Yashoda would look, by looking at his tear-filled face, she would not feel like scolding him. She would still feel only love for him. And then one day, his own friends, including Balaram, his own elder brother Balaram, and a group of Gopas, the friends, they come there and they tell Mother Yashoda that, look, auntie, he has eaten mud. So then Yashoda becomes very concerned. So she has to rescue her son from what can happen if a child eats mud. So she goes there, she catches hold of him, she drags him, she brings him there and she scolds him very in strong words. She said, "You are so indisciplined, so uncontrolled. I don't know how to control you. Why have you eaten mud?" Krishna again denies. He says that they are all telling lies. I have not eaten mud at all. Okay, show me if you are open. First, Krishna says, if you don't believe me, please see my mouth. I'll open it if you want. Okay, open it and show me. And then when he opens it, Yashodama sees the entire universe in her baby's mouth. So she is not able to understand what she is seeing. She expected to see mud inside, but she saw the entire universe. So in this way, Krishna has, his activities. He teases her, he plays with her, and eventually, by his own yogamaya, he removes that vision of the universe and again makes her feel the sneha, the putra sneha that she has towards him. She feels that, and then she lifts him again. She starts cuddling him and kissing him, and so on. So in this way, Krishna enhances the love. His job is to make his own bhaktas experience more and more love. And in that love, there is immense happiness and delight for them. So then one fine day, we listen to now the 9th chapter, what happens. Yashoda Ma, she's in the house and she assigns her household work to other women in the house. So she devotes herself to churning the buttermilk, the chach, to make some butter for Krishna. So then Sri Vasudev describes the intense focus and commitment with which she was churning. You see, bhakti is not about just some sentiment. It's not about singing songs or shedding tears. It's actually intense activity, doing our work with focus, commitment, keeping the object of our love in mind. So with intense focus and commitment, she does her churning. And all of a sudden, baby Krishna comes running to her. Her baby comes running and he holds the churning rod enough. And basically, because he wants her attention now. Okay. So he climbs onto her lap. Even though she's not asking for it, he climbs onto her lap and he indicates that he wants to drink her milk. Okay. Vyasdevji describes in the earlier shlokas that actually, out of her intense love for him, as she's churning the buttermilk for creating butter, she's also narrating all the activities. She recollects. This is called smaranam in the language of bhakti. She narrates all the different beautiful activities that her baby has done, Krishna has done. Obviously, it's natural for any mother, any human mother, to think of her baby. But here, it's more than just a human mother feeling love for a baby. It is actually a bhakta feeling love for Bhagavan. Yashodama is not conscious that her baby is Bhagavan. She thinks she's a human being and her baby is also a human baby. But her bhakti is so intense that her smaran is very, very devoted. She's very intensely thinking of all the activities Krishna has done. And now Krishna suddenly comes. So as she is thinking, her breasts are anyway dripping with milk. It is described even in modern science. I was searching whether this happens to all mothers, and even modern science says that sometimes a mother can feel that when she thinks of her child or when she touches her child, her baby, when the baby is in that age of drinking her breast milk, uh, automatically, even without the baby sucking the breast, the milk comes out of her breast. She drips breast because of that love, that feeling of love for the child. So baby Krishna comes, and when he comes, he is eager to drink her milk, and she obliges. She starts feeding him. Then suddenly she notices that in the kitchen nearby, the stove, the milk has boiled over. The milk is falling over. So what will anyone do when that happens? If you are the only person around, then you will run there, right? So she does what any other mother would do. She keeps the baby down for a moment and she runs to the kitchen and she takes the milk off the stove. Now here, in the meantime, Krishna, he is not happy about it. So what is his reaction? So Vyasdev describes like this. Sanjata kopaha spuritarunaadharam Sanjata kopaha spuritarunaadharam Sandashya dadbhir dadimantha hitva mrishashrur drishadashmana raho jagasahiyangavam antaram gataha Sanjatakopaha spuritarunaadharam sandashya dadbhirdadimantha भित्वा मृषाश्रुर्दृशदश्मनारहो जगासहय्यङ्गवमन्तरं गतः. These shlokas have been composed with extreme poetic finesse. This work of Sri Vyasdev the Bhagavatam, is considered to be his most excellent work. It was done in the prime of his lifetime. It is probably the last work that he did after writing all the Mahabharata, the Puranas, compiling the Vedas, everything. At the end of it, he wrote the Bhagavatam, and this was at the advice of his own Guruji, Narada. And even today, scholars of even those who are not bhaktas, not Vaishnavas, the others also describe that this Bhagavatam is a excellence in terms of both its philosophical content. It's intensely philosophical and also poetical. It's also poetically excellent. Both poetic excellence and philosophical excellence are present in Bhagavatam to a greater degree than any other work of Vyasdevji. And Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that this book, Bhagavata, is not just a book of stories, it's actually his philosophical vyakhya or commentary to the Vedanta Sutras. He's the writer of the Vedanta Sutra, Vyasdevji, and he wrote his own commentary. He commented on it first. He's the first commentator of the Vedanta Sutra, and this is the commentary, the Bhagavata. So that is the quality of this work. And you can see the shloka so beautifully composed. What does it say? It says, Sanjata Kopaha, because his mother dropped him and went away to attend milk, Krishna became angry. His anger came out. And Spurita Aruna Adharam, his lips started trembling with anger and became reddish. Even otherwise, they were reddish in color, but now they became even more reddish because of his kopa. Oh, my mother has left me and gone. It's not uncommon to see even a human baby becoming angry if she does not get attention. The baby may not be able to speak and express its anger by speaking. It may just cry or shout, but you can make out the baby is now angry, right? Okay, Sandashya Dadbihi, biting his lips with his teeth. Dadbihi means with his teeth. Sandashya, biting the lips with his teeth. Dadimanta bhajanam bhitva. So he takes a stick or something lying nearby and breaks the pot that she is churning in. She's churning buttermilk in some pot. So we can understand it must be a clay pot or a mud pot. Otherwise, it won't break if somebody strikes it. Anyway, he strikes it with some rod and it shatters to pieces and all the buttermilk goes out. Then, Mrishashruhu, he adopted tears in his eyes, and these are false tears. Mrisha Ashruhu. He was not really crying. He realized that he had done something wrong. Immediately, he realized that he should not have done that. So he got tears in his eyes and he ran away from there. And what did he do? Drishadashmana rahaha jagasa hayyangam avantaram gata. He went to another room and he found uh, a pot, a stone, a grinding stone, the upturned part of it. Sometimes after the grinding stone is cleaned, it is turned upside down. So all the water that was used for cleaning it will come out. It will become dry. And then you again turn it up the normal way so that you can grind on it. So he found a grinding stone which was upturned like that and he climbed on it. And climbed on it for what purpose? He wanted to eat butter. Okay, that's why he had come here. He wanted to drink his mother's milk, and now his mother had dropped him and gone. So now he found another way to get some food, and so he found a pot of butter, which was hanging from the ceiling. So he stood there on this thing, and he started taking out butter from there, and also feeding some monkeys. So he does this immediately after Mother Yashoda drops him. In the meantime, Mother Yashoda, she has put the milk down from the stove, so milk is safe now. She returns back with the expectation that her baby would be still there and she would continue to feed the baby and churn the buttermilk. But when she comes there, what does she see? She sees the broken pot and then she understands, oh, this fellow has done this. As usual, the next mischief has happened now. So she searches for Krishna. Okay, he's nowhere to be seen. In such a short time, he has vanished from there. So she goes around and then in the next room, she finds him standing on the upturned millstone and he is eating butter from that hanging pot and feeding monkeys as well. So, and he is not just standing in a simple way, he is actually looking around very fearfully because he knows that he has done something wrong. He's aware of that and he's fearfully looking that he might get caught. So he's looking around, so she sees him in that condition. So what does she do? She silently approaches him from behind. She has a stick in her hand now. She takes a stick and this time I have to teach him a lesson. Every time this fellow does something, I get a complaint and somehow he escapes. He does something and he escapes from my hand. But now I have actually seen this firsthand and I can see that there is fear in his face also. So definitely, there is no escape for him now. So she takes a stick and silently she goes behind him. Now, when she's just about to touch him, Krishna notices this and he jumps off immediately and he scurries away from there in fear. And after some chasing around, he runs here and there and tries to avoid her, but he's after all a baby. So he can't run too fast and Yashodama manages to catch hold of him. She catches hold of him. So when she catches hold of him, Shukamuni, or you can say Vyasdevji, describes like this. त्यक्त्वा यष्टिं सुतं भीतं विज्ञायार्भकवत्सला येष किल तं बद्धुं दाम्ना अतद्वीर्यकोविदा त्यक्त्वा यष्टिं सुतं भीतं विज्ञायार्भकवत्सला Yesha kila tam badhum damna tadvirya kovida. So she caught hold of him and then she brought him, or she brings him to inside the house to a place where she can scold him. Then she throws away the stick and she thinks that, okay, this guy, what is the point in beating him? I can see that he's already scared, he's shedding tears, and he has been rubbing his eyes. So the kajal, the mascara which has been applied on his eyes, is now smeared all over his face. So what is the point in beating this fellow? The best thing to do is let me tie him up. The best thing is to tie him up so he'll remain there. Even if he cries, it's okay, but at least I can do my work. After all, I'm making butter to feed him and he's not letting me do that. So she throws away the stick. Yaktva yashtim. Yashti means a stick. Sutam bhitam vigyaya, knowing that her child has got a lot of fear in him. Arbhaka Vatsala, one who is very feeling. Arbhaka means child. Vatsala means one who is very fond or very, very much loving towards her child. Yesha kila, she desired to, tam badhum, should tie him up. Damna, with a thread. Dama means a thread. Daman shabda in Sanskrit. Damna, with the thread or with a rope. Not a small thread, but a rope. Damna. Tadvirya Kovida. Atadvirya Kovida. Atadvirya Kovida is a beautiful term here. What it mean? Virya means strength. Uh, Tadviryam means that person's strength, Krishna's strength. Kovida means one who knows his strength. Here the opposite is used. Atadvirya Kovida. Atadvirya Kovida means one who did not know his real strength. She thought this is a baby. But what is he? He's actually the supreme being, the source of all strength. Everything is inside him. She doesn't know that. She thinks it's just a baby. So she's now picked up a rope and she wants to tie him up. So she's Atadvirya Kovida. Okay, so Shri Vyasdevji adds this phrase to build up the tension to what's going to happen next. न चान्तर्न बहिर्यस्य न पूर्वं नापि चापरं पूर्वापरं बहिश्चान्तर्जगतो यो जगच्छयः तं मत्वात्मजम् अव्यक्तं मर्त्यलिङ्गमधोक्षजं गोपिकोलूखले दाम्ना बबन्ध प्राकृतं यथा. So the first part of the two shlokas here, the first shloka says, Nacha antaha, na bahihi, yasya. One who has no inside and no outside. Is infinite. If something is infinite, there is nothing inside or outside. It is so huge. Na purvam na pichaparam. There is nothing that is before him. There was nothing before him. He is beyond time and nothing after him. There's nothing, there's no end for him. He is not going to end at some time. Purva aparam bahihi antaha jagataha yaha means of this universe, he is the Purva, means he existed before this universe came, and aparam, he is also going to exist after this universe ends. Bahihi, he is outside this universe and he is also inside this universe. So Purva param bahischantar jagatoyaha and jagatchaya. And the universe is both inside him and outside him, means he is so finely embedded in the universe. So you can say universe is outside him, but at the same time, everything is inside him. So universe is inside him. And everything is before and after. The universe, you can say, existed before he came inside it, and it's going to exist after he performs his leela. So you can interpret this in many ways. So it's very difficult to describe him in any particular way because in all descriptions he manages to fit. His expansion is like that. So this shloka is very philosophical. It tells about his nature as not something that we can talk about like for a normal living being. A normal living being is born, it dies, it has a starting point, ending point. It has a definite position in space. We can say this person was here, it was not here. But for him, we cannot say any of those things. It's infinite, always existing, right? So the shloka then. But what did Yashoda think of him as? Tam matva atmajam. She thought of him, this is my baby. Avyaktam, he is actually unmanifest. Martya lingam. She thought of him as a mortal. Adhokshajam means one who is beyond the senses, beyond our perception. She didn't know that. So she thought of him as somebody who is a mere mortal, like any other child. Gopika Yashoda, Ulukale damna babandha. Ulukalam means that grinding stone. Ulukale damna, with the rope, babandha. She tied him up. Prakritam yatha. So she tied one end of it to the grinding mortar, and the other end she tied around his waist. She tied around his waist. Prakritam yatha, like she would do for a normal human baby. Suppose a normal human mother wants to do for a normal human baby, how would she do it? Prakritam yatha, just like you would do for any normal child. She did like that. Then what happened? तद्दामबध्यमानस्य स्वार्भकस्य कृतागसः द्व्यङ्गुलोनम् अभुत्तेन सन्धदेन्यच्च गोपिका. That thread, that rope, that dhama, badhyamanasya swarbhakasya kritagasah, of her child whom she was tying this and who is actually an offender. Kritagasah means who has actually committed an offense. He has broken the pot, he has run away, he is now stealing butter which he is not supposed to, of such a child when she was trying to tie. Dvengulonam means it was 2 finger widths short. It was short by just 2 finger widths, very small amount. She had to tie the knot on his waist, but it just could not tie. It just reached, and she needed a little bit more to tie that knot, but she could not tie. Dvengulonam abhut tena. So therefore, sandhade anyacha gopika. So she said, okay, this one is too short. I'll get one more and tie it up. So she found another piece of rope lying nearby. She brought that and she tied this. She added that rope to this one. So she removed it again from his waist, first added that rope, and then she again turned it around his waist. Yadasit tadapi nyunam tenanyadapi sandade tadapi dvengulam nyunam yad adatta bandhanam. So when she brought that and then she tied it, she found that also was falling short. Then she brought one more and she tied that, and again that also was 2 finger width short. And then yad adatta bandhanam. She went on bringing pieces of rope again and again, and each time she brought a piece of rope, it fell short. It was not enough to complete the loop and make a knot. So she went on doing this. She did not think, why is it happening? Evam swageha damani yashoda sandhadatyapि gopinam susmayantinam smayanti vismita bhavat. So all the other gopis, they also heard, Krishna doing this, and they saw Yashoda running. So they, out of curiosity, came there to see what's going on. They knew that now some Krishna has done some mischief, something is going to happen. So they came there to see what was happening, and they saw Mother Yashoda doing this. And initially, when they saw this was happening, they thought Krishna is playing some prank on her, and they were smiling. But after some time, they also realized it's not just a matter of smiling. Vismita bhavat. They became puzzled. It became too puzzling for them. Hey, what's going on? Why is this happening again and again? So they became vismita. Initially, they were smayanti. They were smiling. And then they became very puzzled. They also trying to figure out, "Hey, why is this happening? So much rope has been brought, but how much ever we add, it becomes just 2 finger width short. What's going on?" Swamathu gatraya visrasta kabarasrajaha drishtva parishramam krishnaha kripayasit swabandhane. So seeing his mother Swinna Gatra, Swinna means sweating, seeing that his mother's body was now filled with sweat. She was sweating profusely. Okay, you can imagine it's happened around this time, the month of October, or you can say the Kartik month, which is just about to begin in 2 days. Visrasta kabarasrajaha. Her hair, normally a woman, an Indian woman, we braid, Indian women braid their hair and then put flowers in the hair. So all the braidedness and the flowers in the hair, they loosened up because of the intensity with first she was churning the butter, then she ran around. She had to go put off the milk, and then she came, she was chasing him, catch, and now she's trying to tie the rope. She's been doing a lot of physical work and she's sweating, and her hair has now become loose and the flowers are falling off. So seeing all this, Drishtva parishramam Krishna kripaya asit swabandhane. He then opened his kripa and then he got tied by her. He allowed her to tie her up and she tied him. All the while, she had no idea that he was controlling the whole thing. She just thought the rope was falling short and she was not tying it well enough. Okay, she was not doing something right in the tying. That's all she thought. And she had no idea what's happening. But Krishna, who was watching all this, he realized that enough is enough now. Let me allow myself to be tied. So he got himself tied by her. Evam sandarshita hyanga harina भृत्यवश्यता स्ववशेनापि कृष्णेन yasyedam seshwaram vashe. So you can see how Shukamuni is now saying this to Parikshit. He says, Anga means, oh, dear one, oh Parikshit. He's addressing Parikshit like a child because he is sitting there like a disciple. Evam sandarshita. This has been shown by Harina. Hari has shown this. Bhrityavashyata. Bhrityavashyata means his willingness or his inherent property by which he comes under the control of his Bhritya. Bhritya means Bhakta or his servants. He allows himself to get controlled by his servants. Swavashenapi Krishnena. Krishna has shown this by his own vasha, by his own will. Yasya idam Seshwaram vashe. Under whose control even Ishvara, that is Shiva, here Ishvara refers to Shiva. Shiva, Brahma, and all the other devas, they are all under his control. But he allows himself to come under the control of his dear bhaktas. Okay? That is people like Yashoda, Nanda, the Gopas, Gopis, and so on. Nemam virincho na bhavo na shriryapyanga sanshraya prasadam lebhire gopi yattat prapa vimuktidat. Na imam virinchaha. Virinchaha means Brahma, Lord Brahma. Na imam, this prasada that she got, Yashoda got now from Krishna, Brahma will not get or does not get. Na bhavaha. Bhavaha means Shiva. Bhava is the name of Shiva. So na bhavaha. Brahma does not get, Shiva does not get. Na shrihi api. Even Lakshmi ji, his own wife, Anga Sanshraya. Anga Sanshraya means one who is his Ardhangini. You say Ardhangini, like Shiva Parvati. Like that, Vishnu and Lakshmi are like Ardhangini. They are half. She belongs to him. She's on his body all the time. She's also there on his chest. Right? Even she does not get this kind of prasad. So that kind of prasadam lebire gopi. A village woman, Yashoda, got this. Yat tat prapa vimuktidat. Vimuktidaha means one who gives mukti. That is Krishna. So this person gave that kind of kripa to his bhakta Yashoda. Nayam sukhapo bhagavan dehinam gopika sutaha jnani-nam chatma bhutanam yatha bhakti matamiha. So this prasad is not sukhapaha. Sukhapaha means it's not easy to get. Sukhapaha means one which is easy to get. Nayam sukhapaha. This is not easy to get. Bhagavan Devik Dehinam Gopika Sutaha. This son of this Gopi is not easy to get for the ordinary people. Not only for no ordinary people, but even for the Jnanis. Jnani-nam cha Atma Bhutanam. Atma Bhutanam are the Kamya Karmis, the Sakama Karmi, the Karmis who try to do yaga for getting, they do so much dharma for getting benefit. So much benefit, they get material benefit. All the dharma is described in the Shastra. But it's not easy to get. Even for them, it's very difficult to get. But for Yashoda, Bhakti Matam, she is a Bhakti Mata. Because she is having Bhakti in her, that Shuddha Bhakti, Raj Bhakti. Because of that Bhakti, she got this very easily, even without knowing that this is Bhagavan. She's not doing any puja, she's not doing any worship, but she's very pure at heart. So she got this kripa. So this way, Sri Vasudevji points out the nature of Uttama Bhakti, and he points to this question, makes us think and ask this question: what makes someone very dear to Krishna? And can anyone in general achieve that status? We talk about Mother Yashoda, but is it just a theoretical thing? Can we also at least go a few steps towards that? Can we also become eligible to get that kind of love in our life? So how does one achieve that? And here in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 12th chapter, the Dwadasha Adhyaya of Bhagavad Gita, in the last 8 chapters, last 8 shlokas of the 12th chapter, Sri Bhagavan himself describes what are the qualities of those people who are very dear to him, who become very dear to him. And we covered this when we discussed Gita earlier. I will now quickly take you through that and also show you the list. I will not go into all the details, but I'll take you through the list once, and then I will also send you the list if you wish to have. I can put it in the chat here so you can see it later whenever you have time. So Adveshta Sarvabhutanam Maitraha Karuna Evacha Nirmamo Nirahankaraha Samadukka Sukakshami Santushtaha Satatam Yogi Yatatma Dridhanishchayaha Mai Arpita Mano Buddhihi Yo Madbhaktaha Same Priyaha Yasman Nodvijate Loko Lokan Nodvijate Chayah Harsha Marsha Bhayodvegaihi Mukto Yassacha Me Priyaha अनपेक्ष शुचिर्दक्ष उदासीनो गतव्यतः सर्वारंभ परित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः समे प्रियः यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न कांक्षति शुभाशुभ परित्यागी भक्तिमान यः मे प्रियः समः शत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखेषु समः संग विवर्जितः तुल्य निंदा स्तुतिर्मौनी संतुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेतः स्थिरमतिः भक्तिमान मे प्रियो नरः ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धधाना मत्परमा भक्तास्ते अतीव मे प्रियाः. So Shri Bhagavan describes a list of 37 qualities. In these 8 shlokas that I just read, 37 qualities we identified, which make a person very dear to Krishna. So what are those 37 qualities? I remember preparing this list for you when we were doing Bhagavad Gita. I'm showing you that same list again. And as I went through these shlokas, I also studied the Vyakhyas written by two great scholars who lived in the 17th and 18th centuries, Sanskrit scholars. And they've explained in their own words. See, this is from the native Indian knowledge system. This is not from the Western knowledge system. This is from the Indian knowledge system, how we look at, goodness. What is goodness? What is divinity? What is gratitude? What are those positive qualities? What is positive psychology? You can say this is like a primer into positive psychology. What is that? So Adveshta. I'm just giving you a small drop of it, and we can later on discuss more and also send you this list if you like. So Adveshta means somebody who is free from dvesh towards anyone, who has no hatred towards even those who bear hatred towards them. So how do we cultivate that? We cultivate that by consciously meditating on that, consciously thinking of people who might dislike us. We know who might dislike us. We know people to whom, with whom we have had not so good exchanges, and so they might have a dislike for us. Consciously in our mind, we think of those people and say that let there be good for those people. By doing that, our dvesh, if at all we have any dvesh towards them, that goes away. So there's no question of revenge, there's no question of anger. Friendliness towards others, kindness towards others, karunaha, nirmama. Nirmamatva means not being possessive. This comes when we realize that actually in this world, nothing belongs to us. We come into this world without anything, and we leave this world without taking anything. Anything in between that we have is only incidental. It comes and it goes. We are responsible for it, no doubt. We are responsible for whatever comes to us. We should handle it responsibility and deal with it responsibly, but it doesn't belong to us. We should know that nothing belongs to us. This is how nirmamatva comes. Nirankaraha, freedom from ahankara or false sense of ego, false conception. Samadukka samaha, kshami, satatam santushta, always being content inside, always engaged in yoga, specifically bhakti, seva bhav, with the seva bhav. Yatatma means one who is controlled, has a controlled mind. Dhrida nishchaya, very firmly resolved in their path. Mai arpita mano buddhihi, one whose mind and intelligence are offered to me, to Krishna. Yasmat now, so how to live life. 13 and 14 talks about how we conduct ourselves. live life in a manner that we don't trouble anybody. Nobody is troubled by us. Yasmat no udvijate lokaha and lokat no udvijate chayaha. Others are not disturbed by us, and uh, we are also not disturbed by others, both. So live our life in a way that we don't get disturbed by others and we also don't disturb others. Live in a very peaceful manner. Live at peace. If let things go. If somebody wants too much of something, let them have it. Let them go with that. Don't clash with them. Don't conflict with them. Find a way around it. Then harsha-marsha bhayodvegaihi muktaha, freedom from hankering for enjoyment, intolerance, etc. Number of qualities. Anapeksha, not having much eagerness to enjoy this material world, instead feeling a lot of contentment within oneself. Being clean, both internally clean, mentally, and also physically clean, externally clean. Daksha, being an expert in, one is philosophically an expert, other is expert in all the activities one does, whatever one does. It doesn't mean everybody has to be expert in everything in this world, but whatever one's occupation is, whatever one's responsibilities are, being an expert in those things and doing them well. Udasinaha, not having any attachment to many worldly things or worldly minded people. Gatavyataha, one who is free from all kinds of mundane anxieties, giving up unnecessary things. Sarvaramba parityagi, na hrishyati, na dveshti, na shochati, na kangshati. Shubha ashubha parityagi, one who willingly gives up both papa and punya, not only papa but also punya. Then being equally disposed in many ways towards friend and enemy, respect and disrespect, cold and heat, pleasant and unpleasant. So I would like you to go through these qualities one by one, contemplate on them and think, how can we adopt this? How can I adopt this? Each one of us, how can I adopt this in my life? How will it change me? Okay, write about it, write down something. And if somebody wants to do research on this, you can bring this into research studies. This is Indian knowledge system. Pure, each of them is psychological. Aniketaha, stiramatihi. So in the end, in the last shloka, Sri Bhagavan addresses this as dharmyamritam, means dharmyam. This is pertaining to dharma. This is dharma, and it is the best of dharma. It's nectar, nectarine dharma. This creates nectar inside. By following this, one's mind becomes very peaceful, very happy. One may not become materially rich, or one may become also. That depends on how Sri Bhagavan wants to shape the bhakta. But one is unconcerned with that. One becomes internally so rich that material wealth becomes not so important. Of course, we need some minimum amount to keep our body, alive. We need to keep doing bhakti. So we need some money, but one does not become greedy for more and more money. One is happy with something that comes and is content inside, feels secure that Bhagavan will take care of me. Just like he has taken care of so many people, he will take care of me too. And he will show me how to live peacefully. So this is bhakti, mat paramaha. So many qualities, beautiful qualities listed here. And if we are able to cultivate them, then all the problems of life are solved. There will be no problem left. Everything, see, problems in the sense, material problems in this material world will keep cropping up. But to the bhakta, the way to cope with them, the way to work and live with them, that solution also comes as the bhakta lives in this world. As he talks to Bhagavan, as he connects with Bhagavan, how to cope with the different problems which come, all kinds of problems, he also shows the way. And he resolves problems when his bhaktas call out to him. Okay, this is bhakti, and bhakti is the source of genuine happiness. If we can cultivate this, then we will also find that happiness. So this is the answer to the question, how to become dear to Krishna and how to go towards that state that Mother Yashoda and the gopis are experiencing in Braja. That may not happen overnight, but it will happen as we go towards this. I'll now unmute you and I would like to hear from you. What thoughts do you have? Would you like to share anything from your side? If you wish to have those 37 qualities, please send me one email and I will send it to you. And we'll meet again next week to continue with the next chapter. Each chapter by itself throws a new perspective on how this loving interaction happens. And it shows us that this bhakti is the ultimate goal of life. as we live in this world, if we learn how to, uh, you know, uh, learn how to proceed towards God by following these principles, hear more and more about Him, bring Krishna into our lives step by step, then gradually our life becomes perfect. Subhashish, you raised your hand. Yes, please.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you. You mentioned about, in fact, as a recurring theme, you have always talked about this Indian knowledge system,
Yes,
and there was potential to do research in this area as well. So
yes,
while I am at this point in time, the focus is on the thesis, but I wanted to kind of start reading a bit in this front, and if you could recommend a few authors in this space, which I can start reading up slowly, so that
yeah,
I can by the time the PhD gets complete, I wanted to dedicate a bit more time because I see there's a lot of interest in myself to understand that, and I think people can also, I would be able to disseminate that in relevant quarters in the future, which I think would be useful for people. So
yes,
wanted to understand if there are few things, if you could, not much sir, but at least to start off, if I can immerse a bit myself a bit more,
yeah.
uh, I can write to you sir, so that if it is okay, I can
Yeah.
write to
So
you.
in the chat, I'll put the name of the first author you can read. That is Professor Bhavuk. You can start with Professor Bhavuk's works. I think that
Sure
will
sir.
be the closest to what I would like to recommend for you, Professor
Sure sir.
Bhavuk. And now in the first issue of the journal, there's a new journal which has been released called the Journal of Indian Knowledge Systems.
Okay sir. Okay.
Please, please
Okay.
Google on this Journal of Indian Knowledge Systems. So in this journal, it's actually a journal introduced by Indian scholars who are spread across some of the IITs, IIMs. It's on Daivi and Asuri Sampat, which we have covered in our Gita
Sure
16,
sir.
16 chapter, if you recollect, Daivi and
Yes.
Asuri. So this
Yes sir.
is fully on Daivi and Asuri, the
I
qualities.
will I will look up Professor Bhavuk's this article, sir, and thank you for sharing, sir.
Yeah, I'll just put his name here. There's a realization that comes from today's class that genuine love and pure happiness, they naturally sprout in a heart that is devoid of the unwanted qualities. So when you read those 37 qualities as well, this is what is visible. Something that we have to work on. Our enemies are inside us. We have to remove them. ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे. Thank you all. धन्यवादाः. See you again next Sunday.